Today, we're going to tackle one of the most upside down ideas you'll ever come across. It comes from the Apostle Paul, and it's this: true power, real strength, isn't found in what you're good at, it's found in your weakness.
And that's the big question, right? I mean, this guy, Paul, was an absolute giant of early Christianity. So when he gets pulled into a boasting contest in one of his letters, you'd expect him to list his wins. But he doesn't. He boasts about his shipwrecks, his beatings, his hunger. He completely flips the script on what it means to be strong. So why? Why would he do that?
Well, to get what's going on, you gotta picture the scene in ancient Corinth. A new group of teachers has rolled into town. Paul, with a heavy dose of sarcasm, calls them super apostles. And these guys were flashy, they were charismatic, and they were basically trying to push Paul out by bragging about all their amazing spiritual experiences.
And this is the central conflict. On one side, you've got these super apostles just dazzling everyone with stories about their visions of the Lord. And on the other side, you have Paul, who's being forced to talk, and he starts by listing all the horrible things that have happened to him. Now, if you're in Corinth, who are you going to be more impressed by? It seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, you can almost hear how much he hates doing this. He literally says he feels forced into this foolish boasting. He's so clear there's nothing to be gained by it, but his rivals and the church that's starting to listen to them have basically backed him into a corner. He has to play their game. But he's about to play it by a whole new set of rules. So Paul says, okay, fine. You want to talk about visions and revelations from the Lord? I can do that. He decides to meet them on their own turf. But the way he tells the story is, well, it's a total masterclass in how to make a point without actually bragging. Just look at how he does this. First, he doesn't even say, I had a vision. He says, I know a man in Christ. He puts it in the third person. Then he tells them it happened 14 years ago. Who waits 14 years to talk about something that amazing? And he's even fuzzy on the details. Was he in his body? Out of his body? He just says, I don't know, God knows. This isn't boasting. This is him actively downplaying the experience. And that's the whole point. He brings up this absolutely incredible, off-the-charts vision just to say that it doesn't matter. He's making a powerful argument that someone's authority doesn't come from some secret, mystical experience that no one else can verify. That's not a valid credential. He wants them to look at the real, observable facts of his life and his message. And right here, he makes this brilliant move. He takes them from the highest of highs, this trip to the third heaven, and immediately slams them down to the lowest of lows. He pivots from this incredible vision in the clouds to a constant grinding pain he endures on earth. He calls it his thorn in the flesh. And you can feel the shift in how he's writing. The vision story, that was all vague, third-person stuff. But the thorn? Oh, now it's personal. Suddenly, it's all I, me, and my. His language goes from cloudy and indescribable to sharp, specific, and painfully open. This is what he really wants to talk about. And then he just drops this bombshell line. It's the key to the whole chapter. He says he'll boast about that other guy, the man in Christ who had the vision. But about himself? Nope. He says, I will not boast of myself except in my weaknesses. And with that one line, the tables are completely turned. So what is this thorn in the flesh? Well, from the text, we know it was some kind of constant, painful, humiliating weakness or suffering. And it wasn't random. It was there for a reason, to keep him humble and to keep him completely reliant on God's power, not his own. You see, the real mystery here, the real revelation, isn't what the thorn was, it's why it was there. And that's a much deeper truth than any vision of heaven. For centuries, people have tried to figure it out. Was it a disease, bad eyesight, a person who was constantly opposing him? We don't know. Paul never says. And you know what? That's probably the point. By not naming it, he makes it something we can all relate to in our own struggles. The what is way less important than the why. So Paul tells us that he pleaded with God to take it away. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. And God's answer was, no. The request was denied. But the prayer was answered. This is the answer he gets, and it's one of the most revolutionary ideas in history. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Get that? God's power doesn't just work in spite of Paul's weakness. It's made complete. It reaches its goal inside of that weakness. The weakness itself becomes the very stage where God's power performs.
So you see, the thorn had a job. Its purpose was, 1, to keep Paul humble, to keep him from getting arrogant because of his amazing spiritual experiences. And 2, and this is crucial, it created the perfect environment for God's power to shine through him. It was a constant, painful reminder that his strength didn't come from himself. So let's zoom out. What's the big takeaway from all this? Paul's strange boast completely reshapes how we think about what it means to be strong, to be successful, to have authority. In the end, Paul's real resume, his ultimate proof of apostleship, wasn't that secret vision he had over a decade ago. It was the public, painful, persistent weakness that he endured day in and day out. His authority wasn't validated by his own strength, but by a divine power that was made perfect through his fragility. And so that leaves us with a pretty challenging question. In a world that's obsessed with strength, success, and hiding our flaws, Paul's argument points us in the exact opposite direction. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Where, in your own struggles, in your own limitations, in your own thorn, might your greatest strength be hiding?